Welcome to Once Upon a Snooze Fest. I'm thrilled you chose to tune in. Hi there, I'm Nigel, your host. We're about to set sail on our journey to sleep. Get comfy so you can fall asleep. But first, a message from our sponsors. This evening's story is about a pair of hydrangea bushes and their summer on the shore. This is Sentinels of Nantucket. There they stood, side by side, like a pair of faithful sentinels, guarding the entrance to a cozy beach house on the picturesque island of Nantucket. These were not just any ordinary plants. They were a resplendent pair of hydrangea bushes, their abundant blooms painting a vibrant tapestry of blues, pinks, and purples that splashed against the canvas of the sea-washed home. Their story began when they were carefully planted by loving hands into the sandy soil, where the salty breeze from the nearby ocean intertwined with the sun's warm rays. Each petal and leaf seemed to whisper secrets of serenity as the waves rhythmically embraced the shore just a stone's throw away. The beach house itself, a quaint and charming structure with weathered shingles and white trim, stood as a haven of tranquility, echoing laughter and the gentle hum of summer life. The hydrangeas were not merely ornamental, but cherished companions for the family that called this beach house their summer sanctuary. They had watched seasons come and go, their branches reaching out, growing a bit more each year. Positioned near the front porch, they were privy to the comings and goings of daily life, thriving in the harmony of their idyllic setting. Through warm, lazy days and cool, misty nights, these hydrangeas embodied resilience and beauty, shaping the essence of the landscape around them. Each season brought new visitors, bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, all drawn to the irresistible allure of their blossoms. And as the family gathered for breakfast on the lawn, or lazy afternoons by the sea, the bushes stood by, basking in the shared moments of joy and contentment. These were no ordinary hydrangeas. They were the keepers of memories, the silent witnesses to the quiet, subtle beauty of island life, forever rooted in their place by the beach house on Nantucket. Picture a typical summer day on the island of Nantucket. The sky is exuding a clear, endless blue, without a single cloud to mar its perfection. Situated just outside a quaint and charming beach house, two hydrangea bushes enjoy their prime spots, living side by side in terracotta planters. These planters, with their earthy tones, frame the vibrant hues of the hydrangeas, one in a breathtaking shade of cerulean blue, and the other a soft, enticing pink. As the first light of dawn spills over the horizon, the hydrangeas awaken slowly. The beads of dew gathered on their petals begin to shimmer and evaporate under the growing warmth. If you could look closely, the stems seem to stretch just a bit, reaching out to embrace the new day. This is a special time for them, a golden hour before the world fully stirs. By mid-morning, the beach house is alive with activity. Seagulls circle overhead, their calls blending with the distant roar of the ocean. The sun is now in full bloom, hanging high in the sky. Rays filter through the leaves of the nearby oak tree and dance upon the hydrangea's blossoms, creating a dazzling display of light and color. The gentle sea breeze, coming in unhurriedly from the Atlantic, brings with it a whisper of salty freshness, a daydream of horizons far beyond the sight of their roots. This breeze weaves in and out of the hydrangeas, rustling their leaves in a peaceful symphony that embodies the spirit of summer. The afternoon rolls in, bathed in splendid sunlight. This part of the day has a different rhythm, quieter, as the human occupants of the beach house retreat indoors to escape the peak midday heat. During this serene lull, the hydrangeas relish the full strength of the sun. The soil in their planters, expertly cared for by the beach house's ardent gardener, is moist and nourishing. It's a blend rich in minerals and well-balanced, promoting the health and vibrance of these stunning blooms. The sun's rays now seem to slow down, more like a tender caress than a sharp glare. The warmth seeps deep into their leaves and petals, fostering photosynthesis while rejuvenating their essentials. In this tranquil scenario, even the smallest interactions seem enchanted. The occasional butterfly flutters by, brushing against the hydrangea blossoms with its powdery wings. Bees, with their industrious hum, visit frequently, drawn by the delicate nectar within each bloom. As the afternoon matures into the mellow hues of evening, the family emerges. The once quiet garden fills with the joyful laughter of children, their feet dancing over the soft blades of grass. This is a treasured time for the hydrangeas. Though situated in their planters, they watch the sheer happiness unrolling before them. The children, with giggles that can light up the gloomiest day, might sometimes stop to examine the blossoms, their curious fingers gentle on the petals. The gentle touch feels like an affirmation, an appreciation of their all too often unnoticed wonders. Nearby, the parents spread out a picnic blanket. This sight is not unfamiliar. Basket filled with fresh bread, cheese, fruit, and perhaps a bottle of chilled lemonade or a glass of coastal wine. As they settle down, stories are exchanged and moments are engraved in memory. The hydrangeas, in their own quiet way, become keepers of these cherished family tales, their blooms swaying slightly, with the warm wind conveying an aura of silent companionship. As dusk begins to whisper its arrival, the sun starts its prolonged descent, painting the sky with strokes of orange, pink, and violet. The hydrangeas look forward to this part of the day. The diminishing light brings relief from the day's heat, offering a cool respite that feels almost like a soothing balm. The ambient temperature drops, and the hydrangeas gradually release the day's gathered warmth, their petals and leaves breathing a collective sigh of contentment. The waves in the nearby ocean can be heard more clearly now, a constant and comforting backdrop. As twilight drapes its silvery veil over the garden, lanterns and fairy lights flicker to life around the beach house. The soft glow they emit dances on the hydrangeas, casting an ethereal effect that heightens their beauty. Twilight is when the hydrangeas enter a state of reflective calm. The entire day, with its myriad of activities and delight, slowly folds into nighttime tranquility. Stars begin to pinprick the sky, and soon darkness, deep and inclusive, descends. The sounds of the family pit-pattering into the house, the children's tired but content murmurs drifting into sleep, signal the close of another typical summer day. The hydrangeas, now shrouded in shadow, prepare for the stillness of night, knowing that when dawn breaks, a new day awaits. Another sequence of sun, sea breeze, and echoes of life around the quaint Nantucket beach house. For these hydrangea bushes, days blend into one another seamlessly, a beautiful portrait of constancy and renewal against the backdrop of Nantucket's timeless allure. The sky over Nantucket often promised days filled with brilliant sunshine, but in the midst of these golden moments, the hydrangea bushes knew there was another kind of delight. Every now and then, the horizon would gently drape itself in soft grey clouds, bringing an anticipatory hush over the grounds surrounding the quaint beach house. These were the days the hydrangeas cherished, the days of pleasant rain showers. As the clouds slid in, casting a lovesome shadow, there was a palpable sense of calm. The temperature would drop just slightly, providing a reprieve from the heat of the summer sun. The hydrangeas, with their blossoms heavy and full, would bow their heads as if in reverence to the nurturing cycle about to unfold. The first raindrops would fall lightly, little silvery beads dancing through the air. The leaves of the hydrangea bushes rustled softly, eagerly accepting the cool embrace of water. These drops, splashing on wide green leaves and trickling down to the roots, were a sip of heaven for the bushes. The rain provided a drink far more refreshing than the water the lady of the house would pour from her silver watering can. This rain was filled with a natural vigor, an essential purity straight from the clouds. As the showers would increase, the ground saturated quickly, turning the area into a soft, welcoming bed of moist earth. The hydrangea roots reached out, stretching and drinking deeply, relishing the quenching, nourishing gift. They felt invigorated, as though every fibre of their being was lit up with renewed strength and vitality. Each droplet that made its slow journey from the bloom to the base was like a whisper, telling stories of rivers and oceans. The rain also brought a fresh scent that wafted through the yard, an earthy aroma mixed with the delicate, almost sweet perfume of the hydrangeas themselves. It was a fragrance that lingered, enhancing the already picturesque setting. The bushes basked in this heady combination of scents, the raindrops turning the air into a tapestry of nature's bouquets. Alongside the refreshment, the rain also polished the hydrangea's blooms, making each blue, pink and purple petal shimmer with a renewed luster. Stems stretched taller, leaves looked greener, and the delicate petals seemed to blush with enhanced colour. The bushes hummed with a renewed vibrancy that the days of sunshine alone could not accomplish. Each rain shower was a spa day for the hydrangeas, a time of pampering and revivification. On these rainy days, the beach house family would often retreat indoors, leaving the yard to its serene symphony of water and greenery. The children ceased their busy activities, the dog curled up by the fireplace, and the adults indulged in books and board games. This absence of human noise allowed the hydrangeas to fully experience the raindrops' gentle pitter-patter, a melody that seemed composed just for them. They revelled in this tranquil time, entering a more profound, contemplative state as nature danced around them. Sometimes, in the midst of these gentle rains, the wind would pick up ever so slightly, causing the twigs and branches around the house to sway gracefully. The leaves of the hydrangeas, polished and adorned with rain, would shimmer and glide, performing a quiet ballet in time with the breeze. It was during these moments the bushes felt at one with the world, as if each element was working in unison to rejuvenate and replenish them. Even after the showers ceased, the presence remained. Puddles lingered, shimmering in the muted post-rain sunlight, and the air retained a soft coolness. The hydrangeas stood revitalized, their leaves heavy with raindrops that glittered like diamonds when the light returned. The garden hummed with the contented sighs of verdant life that had been thoroughly refreshed. With each passing rain shower, the roots delved deeper into the soil, exploring new territories, spreading out within their pot confines. The hydration allowed them to draw in nutrients more efficiently, fortifying their stems and encouraging fuller blossoms. It was as though the rain had whispered ancient secrets of growth and resilience, secrets that the hydrangeas eagerly absorbed and stored within their botanical memory. As night would fall, the hydrangeas would rest, serene and composed, almost sighing in satisfaction. The glow of moonlight through the dissipating clouds cast shadows over them, marking the end of another treasured rain day. With petals gently drooping, as if in a pleasant, restful sleep, they savoured the aftermath of the precious gift from the sky. The joyous occasion of a rain shower added not just moisture, but a fullness to their lives, a simple, profound contentment that came from being intricately connected to the rhythms of nature. In such serene intervals, the hydrangeas found their deepest happiness, quietly thriving within the nourishing cosmos of Nantucket's summer days. Nestled comfortably outside the charming beach house on Nantucket, the pair of hydrangea bushes found their summer days filled with a rich tapestry of interactions and entertainment, thanks to the lively family that called the house home. From dawn to dusk, the human inhabitants of the beach house added layers of charm and exhilaration to the hydrangea's already delightful existence. Each morning began with the soft hum of activity, signaling the awakening of the house. The children, filled with an eager energy that was both endearing and infectious, were often the first to burst out of the door, ready to embrace the adventures that awaited them. Their laughter, a spontaneous melody, resonated through the air, making the hydrangeas quiver in a gentle, almost appreciative response. The little ones would run barefoot through the dewy grass, their toes tickled by the softness of the earth, while their imaginations soared into realms of pirates, fairies, and undiscovered treasures. The hydrangeas became silent witnesses to these whimsical tales, their blooms nodding in agreement with every triumph and tribulation narrated by the children. family's canine companion, a golden retriever with an inquisitive nose and a boundless zest for exploration, added another layer of delight to the hydrangea's world. Often, this friendly furball would find his curiosity piqued by the bushes, sniffing around their bases, occasionally digging at the soil with fervent enthusiasm. On sunny days, he would chase after butterflies that dared to flutter too close, his energy melding seamlessly with the vibrant aura of the garden. The hydrangeas, standing tall and serene, seemed to smile at the retriever's antics, knowing that his exuberance was another thread woven into the rich fabric of their summer days. Afternoons brought a serene interlude, characterized by the tranquil presence of the adults, who often sought refuge from the midday sun beneath the shade provided by their beach umbrellas. Picnics were a frequent occurrence, transforming the lawn into a picturesque tableau of relaxation and camaraderie. The hydrangeas basked in the proximity of these gatherings, allowing the gentle breeze to carry snippets of conversation and the delightful aromas of summer fare, freshly baked bread, crisp salads, and sweetly tart lemonade to their eager senses. They had no mouths to taste, but one could almost imagine them savouring these moments, their leaves rustling in appreciation. It was during these picnics that the hydrangeas witnessed the familial bonds that were the true heartbeat of this idyllic summer. The way the family members interacted, passing plates laden with food, sharing stories and laughter, and creating memories, brought a sense of contentment that rippled through the garden like a silent cheer. The children, tired yet happy, would rest their heads on their parents' laps, their boundless energy finally ebbing into a peaceful lull. Even the retriever, after a morning of boundless activity, would find a spot near the family, resting on the cool grass, still alert to the occasional drop morsel or the flutter of a birdwing. And then there were the evenings, when the golden hues of sunset cast a magical glow over everything, including the hydrangea bushes. It was a time for quiet reflection and unwinding, a gentle conclusion to the day's activities. The family would often assemble around a small fire pit, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows on the hydrangeas. Soft conversations and the occasional strum of a guitar created a soothing soundtrack that lulled the bushes into a tranquil state. The night sky, with its tapestry of stars, would eventually envelop them, and the family, tired from their day's adventures, would retreat into the comfort of the house, leaving the hydrangeas to stand sentinel under the vast, shimmering canopy. The interactions with the family were not just moments of passive observation for the hydrangea bushes, but exchanges that added depth and layers to their existence. Each laugh, each playful bark, each shared whisper by the fire built a storyline that connected the hydrangeas to this animated human world, enriching their summer life even further. These cherished moments of family joy and unity, these lively scenes of everyday life, provided an ever-changing theatre for the hydrangeas, making their days outside the Nantucket beach house an endless source of beauty and delight. The morning began as it usually did, with the gentle caress of the morning sun warming the petals of the hydrangea bushes. They stood proudly, their lush blooms echoing the colours of the ocean just a short distance away. The air was still, with just the faintest murmur of waves breaking rhythmically against the shore. However, this day had a different undertone, one that the hydrangeas seemed to sense in the delicate twitch of their leaves. By midday, the sky, which usually stretched out in an endless canvas of blue, began to adopt a somber tone. Clouds, thick and foreboding, crept in from the horizon, blotting out pieces of the azure expanse. The bright, shimmering light of the sun was slowly engulfed by a veil of gloomy darkness. The gentle breeze that typically whispered through the hydrangea's leaves picked up pace, transforming into an unsettling gust. It bent the stems and ruffled the petals, hinting at the turmoil to come. As the afternoon progressed, the atmosphere grew increasingly heavy, pressing down like an invisible weight. The sky, now a dismal blanket of grey, darkened ominously, The once comforting sounds of summer, the cheerful chirping of birds, and the distant laughter of children were swallowed by the rising wind. The ocean seemed to mirror the sky's mood, its once playful waves now crashing with a menacing roar. The hydrangeas, rooted securely in their plot, stood firm, but felt the tension in the air. The rising winds tugged at them insistently, shaking their blossoms and sending shivers down their stems. A sense of foreboding settled around them, as if the very earth they were planted in was holding its breath. The wind howled louder, the leaves rustling like the whispers of apprehensive ghosts. Suddenly, a flash of lightning split the sky, followed closely by a deafening clap of thunder. The ground reverberated with the force, and within moments the initial droplets of rain began to fall. They started slowly, tentative splashes on the hydrangea's broad leaves, but quickly evolved into a relentless, pounding torrent. The hydrangeas swayed with the onslaught, their roots gripping the soil desperately. The sky, now an impenetrable cauldron of chaos, unleashed its fury. Sheets of driving rain blurred the once clear line of the horizon, creating a monochromatic wash of grey and black. The wind shrieked, pushing the rain horizontally and battering the hydrangeas from all sides. Each droplet felt like a tiny hammer, forceful and unyielding. As the storm raged on, the hydrangeas clung to their strength, their once plump petals now battered and slick. The protection of their sturdy branches and the resilience of their leaves were put to the ultimate test. They could feel the weight of the water pulling at them, and yet they stood tall against the relentless bombardment. The world around them was a frenzy of motion and sound. The house behind them seemed to brace itself, its shutters rattling violently against the windows. Trees in the distance swayed precariously, their branches thrashing wildly. And yet, in the midst of this tempest, the hydrangeas held on, weathering the intensity with a quiet determination. Every gust of wind was met with resistance, every sheet of rain absorbed with grace. Despite the turmoil, there was a deep-seated endurance within them, a resilience rooted in their existence throughout many seasons. This storm, although fierce, was another chapter in their long-lived story, a testament to the strength that lay within their delicate beauty. As the cacophony of the storm surged and swelled, there was a certain rhythm to it, a wild symphony of nature's power in full display. The hydrangeas, though overwhelmed by the sheer force of the weather, adapted and endured, finding ways to bend rather than break, to sway rather than fall. As the storm continued its ferocious barrage, the hydrangeas stood as silent witnesses to nature's formidable power, anticipating the moment when the skies would once again clear and calm would be restored. The sky over Nantucket had darkened in a matter of moments, turning from a bright azure to a brooding grey. The first raindrops were timid, a hesitant introduction to what was about to come, but soon the wind picked up, howling with an intensity that ripped through the tranquility of the beach house's garden. The two hydrangea bushes, usually the epitome of serenity, were now faced with the relentless power of nature. Almost instinctively, they huddled closer together, their branches and leaves intertwining as if sharing strength. Their once vibrant blooms were now being pelted by sheets of rain, each drop a tiny hammer against their delicate petals. The wind tossed them to and fro, bending them almost to the point of breaking, but still they held on. Deep within the soil, their roots tightened their grip, anchoring them to the earth as the storm raged on. The hydrangeas had been through rainstorms before, but nothing quite like this. The gusts seemed to come in waves, each stronger than the last, as if the ocean itself had taken to the skies. Clumps of wet sand flew through the air, and loose twigs from nearby trees crashed against the house's walls. The hydrangeas could feel the vibrations through the ground, adding to their sense of urgency and danger. Though the bushes couldn't speak, they communicated through their resilience, through the bending but not breaking of their branches, through the holding fast of their roots. Each moment felt like an eternity, yet they were determined to endure. They knew instinctively that storms did not last forever. They ebbed and flowed like the waves of the nearby sea. As the storm continued, fatigue began to set in. The hydrangea's leaves were tattered, and some of their blossoms had been stripped away, carried off by the furious wind. But still, beneath the surface, their roots remained strong, nourished by the deep reserves of water and nutrients stored during better days. This was a fight, not just of the surface, but of the very essence of their being. Every once in a while, a particularly fierce gust would bend one of the hydrangea bushes almost to the ground. It would shudder under the impact, its branches quivering, but just when it seemed it might not rise again, it would straighten, ever so slowly, reclaiming its rightful place. It was in these moments that the hydrangea's true strength was revealed, not in defiance, but in persistence. As the hours dragged on, the eye of the storm brought a momentary peace. The world was eerily silent, the air heavy with humidity and the scent of rain-soaked earth. The hydrangeas took advantage of this brief reprieve to gather their strength, sensing that the storm had not yet spent its full fury. They were right. Soon enough, the other side of the storm arrived, and with it, renewed ferocity. Dust and debris swirled around, and the hydrangeas clung to their last reserves of vitality. The storm tested every fibre of their being, but each burst of wind, each torrential downpour was met with an inner resolve. They were, after all, survivors, shaped by not just the sun and the rain, but by the adversity they had faced together. The torment continued late into the night. The darkness, punctuated only by flashes of lightning, brought a new layer of disquiet. The hydrangea's senses were overwhelmed. The sheer force of the storm was terrifying. But eventually, as with all things in nature, a shift began to occur. The wind's intensity lessened, the rain softened, and the once violent skies started to calm. With the first light of dawn, the storm finally began to abate. The air was still charged with the residue of the night's fury, but the worst had passed. Exhausted yet unbroken, the hydrangeas remained. They had faced the storm's wrath and survived. Their petals may have been fewer, their leaves less pristine, but standing there in the soft morning light, it was clear they were still very much alive. Triumph, in its quietest and most profound form, lingered in the garden. The hydrangeas stood together, an enduring testament to the strength and resilience that lies hidden beneath even the most delicate exteriors. They were ready to embrace the returning sun, grateful for both its warmth and the nourishing rain that had tested their very essence. The storm had come and gone, and with it, a deeper bond had been forged in their shared struggle and eventual triumph. As dawn begins to break, the storm's fury reluctantly withdraws its grasp from the island, leaving a dense, perplexing hush in its wake. The once turbulent elements have now given way to an almost surreal calm. The beach house, stoic and steadfast against the brunt of the tempest, stands as a silent sentinel overseeing the first rays of light filtering through breaks in the cloud. For the pair of hydrangeas, these first glimmers of dawn are nothing short of a revelation. All is still, save for the occasional drip-drop of water cascading from their still wet blossoms. Each droplet seems to carry with it a fragment of the storm's memory, a testament to the battle they have endured. The hydrangeas look noticeably weary. Their petals cling to one another, droplets glittering from the leaves like nature's little jewels. The air, now cleansed of its previous turbulence, carries a new sense of renewal. Every passing breeze is a gentle, life-affirming caress that whispers of new beginnings. The heavy, moisture-laden scent of rain still hangs in the air, but it shares space with the briny notes of the sea and the fresh, earthy aroma of rejuvenated soil. The hydrangeas take it all in, their roots extending deep into the nourishing soil, drinking up the freshness bestowed upon them by the rains. The sky steadily lightens, transforming from a sullen grey to a brighter, more hopeful hue. Flecks of azure break through the dull cover, painting a canvas of serenity overhead. The hydrangeas feel the warmth of the emerging sun, its rays inching ever so slowly across their leaves. Droplets of rainwater caught in the light refract into tiny rainbows, an ethereal display that marks an end to the storm and the beginning of recovery. As the morning progresses, the hydrangeas begin to unfurl their petals, shaking off remnants of the storm. Their beautiful blooms, somewhat battered but resilient, start to raise themselves to greet the morning light. It is as if the storm has given way to a newfound strength within, a reinvigoration that can only come from facing and surviving adversity. Birds begin to venture forth from their safe havens, chirping hesitantly at first, then with increasing confidence. Their songs seem to be in sync with the renewed life force now coursing through the hydrangeas. Insects, displaced and drenched, buzz back into their routines, adding to the chorus of life that's reclaiming the garden. The family from the beach house stirs within their safe enclosure. Curtains pull back cautiously, revealing curious faces peering out at the changed landscape. The children, full of wondrous energy, bound out into the revived world, splashing through the residual puddles with glee. Their laughter adds a joyful note to the symphony of recovery. As the final vestiges of the storm drifted away, a wave of tranquility settled over the small beach house on Nantucket. The sky gradually lightened, washing soft hues of pink and orange over the horizon. The pair of hydrangea bushes, nestled securely in their plots, slowly started to unfurl themselves. The storm, although fierce, had passed, and with its departure, the promise of new beginnings glimmered. Beneath the first rays of the morning sun, the hydrangeas began to stretch their leaves and blooms. Droplets from the rain still clung to their petals, catching the sunlight and refracting it into tiny prismatic bursts that shimmered like jewels. The soil at their roots, once churned and muddied by the ferocious downpour, had now settled, providing them with the nourishing minerals they'd need to recover. The days that followed were blissfully idyllic. The sun hung high in the sky, bathing the hydrangeas in warmth and encouraging them to thrive. Each morning, a delicate mist would roll in from the ocean, blanketing the landscape with a fine, dewy layer that felt refreshing against their leaves. Gentle sea breezes carried the salty tang of the ocean to their senses, invigorating them anew. Children's laughter once again filled the air as life at the beach house resumed its cheerful rhythm. The hydrangeas, having weathered the storm, stood resilient and vibrant, their blue and pink clusters a testament to the resilience of nature. The darker days had served as a reminder of the world's capricious nature, but also illuminated the beauty of perseverance and renewal. In the calm that followed, they soaked up not just the sunlight, but the essence of the serene summer in Nantucket, a time marked by simplicity, beauty, and an unspoken connection to the world around them. With the rhythmic ebb and flow of daily life restored, the hydrangeas settled back into their best life. They thrived in their sunlit corner outside the beach house, their blooms fuller and richer, contributing to the tableau of natural splendor that made this place special. Embraced by the elements and the laughter of the family nearby, the hydrangea bushes lived out their days in joyous harmony with their surroundings, epitomizing the tranquil summer life on Nantucket.